In the sacred heart of Vatican City, hidden behind centuries-old stone walls and cloaked in silence and tradition, there exists a ritual of extraordinary historical weight and spiritual depth. The Conclave, the secretive assembly of Roman Catholic cardinals whose divine task is to choose the next pope. This process has guided the Roman Catholic Church through centuries of upheaval, transformation, and faith, shaping the world's largest Christian denomination, and indeed much of world history, with each decision. The word conclave originates from the Latin phrase cum clave, meaning with a key, which quite literally describes the ancient practice of locking the cardinals away in seclusion until a decision is reached. The very idea of seclusion is symbolic. The conclave is not a political convention, not a campaign, not a contest of popularity. It is designed to remove external pressures, protect the process from manipulation, and preserve the sacred belief that the new pope is chosen not by ambition or power, but by the guidance of the Holy Spirit. A conclave is called into session upon the vacancy of the papal office, either through death or resignation, the latter being a rare and momentous event. Only a handful of popes have resigned in the 2,000-year history of the Church. The most recent, Pope Benedict XVI, stepped down in 2013, citing physical frailty. His decision stunned the world and triggered a modern conclave, watched closely by Catholics and observers across the globe. Once the papal seat is vacant, the College of Cardinals, composed of senior church officials from around the world, gathers in Rome. These men, typically numbering around 120, hold the exclusive right to vote in the election if they are under the age of 80. They arrive from every continent, representing diverse cultures, languages, theological perspectives, and experiences. Yet they are unified by a singular purpose: to discern who should serve as the next Vicar of Christ, the Bishop of Rome, the spiritual leader of over 1 billion faithful. Before the conclave begins, a series of formalities and spiritual preparations take place. There is a period of mourning, especially if the previous pope has died. Meetings called general congregations allow cardinals to discuss the state of the Church and the qualities they believe the next pope should embody. Issues ranging from internal church reform, clerical abuse scandals, secularism, global poverty, interfaith dialogue, and modern moral questions may all shape their deliberations. On the appointed day, the cardinals gather for the Mass for the election of the Roman pontiff, held in St. Peter's Basilica, asking God for wisdom and guidance. Later, they proceed to the Sistine Chapel, perhaps the most sacred and symbolic venue in all of Christianity. Beneath the powerful frescoes of Michelangelo, depictions of creation, judgment, and divine authority, the cardinals swear an oath of secrecy and are then locked in. The cry of extra omnes, everyone out, signals that the conclave has begun. All communication with the outside world ceases. No phones, no internet, no news. Technological surveillance prevention is put in place to ensure total isolation. Even the staff that supports the cardinals, cooks, doctors, sacristans, are sworn to secrecy and strictly limited in number. The idea is that nothing should distract or influence the prayerful task ahead. The voting process is deeply ritualized. Each cardinal writes his choice for pope on a rectangular ballot inscribed with the words "Eligo in summum pontificem," I elect as supreme pontiff. One by one, they approach the altar, place their folded ballot in a golden chalice atop the altar, and declare before God their vote. The votes are counted by 3 scrutineers, fellow cardinals chosen by lot. A successful election requires a 2/3 majority, a rule designed to ensure broad consensus. After each vote, the ballots are burned in a stove. If no pope has been elected, a chemical is added to produce black smoke, fumata nera, which signals to the world that the search continues. The chimney above the Sistine Chapel becomes a beacon watched by thousands in St. Peter's Square and millions more via television and live streams. The process repeats, typically 2 votes in the morning and 2 in the afternoon, until a candidate achieves the necessary majority. That moment, which may take hours or days, triggers a series of deeply symbolic rituals. First, the elected cardinal is asked a solemn question: do you accept your canonical election as supreme pontiff? If he responds affirmatively, he is then asked, by what name shall you be called? The new pope chooses a papal name, often to reflect the kind of leadership he wishes to offer. When Jorge Mario Bergoglio was elected in 2013, he took the name Francis, inspired by St. Francis of Assisi, signaling a desire for humility, simplicity, and service to the poor. The white smoke, Fumata Bianca, soon follows, rising over the Vatican as the bells of St. Peter's Basilica ring out in celebration. Inside, the new pope is quickly dressed in white papal vestments. Several sizes are prepared in advance, and is led to the Room of Tears, a small chamber adjacent to the chapel. It is said that many popes shed tears there, overcome by the weight of their new role. Then comes the announcement that echoes through history. Habemus Papam. We have a pope. The senior cardinal deacon steps onto the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica and introduces the new pontiff to the world. Moments later, the new pope himself appears, delivering his first Urbi et Orbi blessing to the city and the world. The crowd erupts in applause and emotion. For many Catholics, it is a profound spiritual moment, the visible emergence of divine decision-making made manifest. While the world sees only the smoke and the final announcement, the deliberations inside the Sistine Chapel are often intense. Cardinals must consider pastoral strength, administrative ability, theological depth, communication skills, and moral integrity. Some prefer continuity, others seek reform. The balance between tradition and modern needs, between spiritual depth and global leadership, is delicate and complex. Throughout history, conclaves have played pivotal roles during wars, plagues, schisms, and periods of immense change. Some elections have lasted months, others have concluded within a day. The process itself has evolved. Once subject to the pressures of monarchs and emperors, now fiercely guarded as an internal spiritual journey. Yet the core mission remains unchanged, to seek the will of God and entrust the future of the Church to the one who is best suited to lead. To the outside world, the conclave may seem secretive and mysterious, but to those within, it is a sacred duty filled with prayer, discernment, and trust. It is a moment of deep humility and cosmic responsibility, a reminder that while the Church may be a human institution, its decisions, at least in this context, aim to be divinely inspired. And so each time a conclave is called, history stands still. The Church and the world waits. And when the white smoke rises, it signals not just the election of a man, but the beginning of a new chapter in the story of the Church, guided by centuries of tradition and the enduring hope for spiritual leadership.